In 1993, the NFL announced that Charlotte would receive an NFL franchise. Bank of America Stadium, although not called that at the time, was completed for the start of the 1996 season. Temperatures are right around the freezing mark for tonight's game, so the fans are bundled up as the New Orleans Saints take on the Carolina Panthers. Well, get your bowl of popcorn, your favorite beverage, get settled in. We're just about ready for the opening kick. Baker has his team lined up for the kickoff.
To start the game. Thomas back deep to return.
The kick is away. Fields it at the 7. They can't bring him down. Spins away. And we'll see how their offense has prepared for this matchup as they come onto the field for the first time. The Panthers go with a 4-man front. They'll throw on first down. Steps up in the pocket. It's completed. Great pickup for the first down. That
result of the play is a first down.
Ball on the 38-yard line. The Carolina Panthers line up with a nickelback. He looks to throw on first down. The pass is complete. So they get 2 first downs on their last 2 plays.
They're getting it done, seeing the whole field and taking advantage of what the defense is giving them right now.
They're within striking distance. The Panthers come out in a 4-3. First down, looking to throw. Under heavy pressure. Pass completed. Marshall brings him down at the 22. Good pocket presence shown as the quarterback was able to get rid of it just before the pressure got to him.
And that's an area where he excels. He works his way through his progressions quickly and doesn't hesitate when he sees a receiver break free in coverage.
One-man backfield. Drops back to pass. Makes the catch. With some heat on that.
Yeah, sometimes the quarterback can make a wide receiver look good, and sometimes the receiver makes the quarterback look good. That time, that receiver made a brilliant catch.
They find themselves in the red zone for the first time today. Little handoff. They'll score. Touchdown. Didn't look like the defense was expecting any kind of run in that situation, and they scored easily.
Yeah, but Tom, this is the NFL. You have to be ready for any kind of situation. Believe me, down there, run or pass, clearly a viable option.
Hartley lining up for the point after. Hartley is good on the point after. New Orleans in control. New Orleans will be kicking off. Not a bad kick. Fields it at the 9.
It's still very early, but this is one of those spots you'd like to be able to respond and put the ball in the end zone.
Chris, these teams might have to contend with the weather a bit.
This type of weather usually favors the offense. That's because it's harder to cover routes by those receivers for these cornerbacks.
The Saints come out in a 4-3. Here's the halfback.
I know they didn't get much, but it's all about making the defense respect the fact that they are willing to run.
It's second down and 7 to go.
On the 30-yard line.
The New Orleans Saints line up in a 4-3. The halfback with the carry.
You have to keep the defense honest by mixing those runs and passes.
3rd and 5.
Ball on the 32-yard line.
Call formation here. They give it to him. Fujita tackles him at the 32-yard line. He did what he could, but it still won't be enough for a first down. Baker is waiting for the snap. Bush is back awaiting the punt. Fields it at the 31. He finally goes down at the 49.
Get around the outside on this. Tell your blockers to maintain.
First and 10 to go.
Ball on the 49-yard line.
The Panthers line up in a 4-3. Gives it off.
Oh, Tom, it looked like he hit the hole with very much conviction on that one.
Second and 9.
Ball on the 50-yard line.
The Carolina Panthers go with a 4-man front. Miller was unable to make the catch on that pass attempt.
The intended receiver on the play. Hey, what you got for me, baby? What you got?
They line up with split backs. Here's the halfback. They can't bring him down. Gamble drops in at the 31-yard line.
We got Nick.
The halfback with the carry. Setting up play action. Here's the deep throw. Touchdown, Saints. Looks like the penalty is going to cost them. This one should be coming back.
On the offense, number 77.
This one will be on the offense, and if there was ever a time you don't want a penalty, this is it.
Big passing down right here. This is what it's all about.
Ball on the 41-yard line.
41-yard line.
Hey! Nickel defense. He looks to throw on first down. All kinds of pressure. He goes for it all. Touchdown, Saints.
Touchdown,
Outstanding play
Saints.
to the wide receiver as he took it the distance.
Just a great route that time. No way that he wasn't going to catch that football and score with that one. That was beautiful.
Hartley lining up for the point after. Point after is good. They're starting to build a big lead early in this ballgame.
Yeah, and this defense better figure out something to do pretty quickly or this one's going to get away.
New Orleans gets ready to kick it away.
Harris back to return.
He kicks it off. Fields it at the 7. They forced a 3 and out on the offense's last possession.
This defense looks good.
Carolina
will start the drive at the 28-yard line. First and 10.
The Saints line up in a 4-3. Toss is left.
Just keep hanging with that run. You know sooner or later the defense is going to make a mistake and allow a big one to break into the end zone.
28-yard line.
The New Orleans Saints bring in the nickel package. Defense closing in. The rush gets there, and he goes down. They really are going to have to find a way to slow down the blitz.
I always thought it was so difficult to block linebacker blitzes because more often than not, it's a tight end or a back who has to try and step up and take on these great, athletic, big pass-rushing guys.
McCown sends one of his guys in motion. Back to pass. He's under pressure. It's tipped away.
He worked so hard to get open on the play, did everything right, and then the easy part was making the catch, and he just couldn't come up with it.
He heads out again. This will be his second punt. Takes it at the 33. And they finally bring him down at the 46.
Gain of 12 yards. The Saints will start the drive at the 46-yard line. 1st and 10.
The Carolina Panthers line up in a 4-3. He looks to throw on first down. On the run, he throws it. Out of bounds, incomplete.
Well, that's something receivers work on all the time, dragging that back toe, just unable to do it that time.
Bush is the single setback. A little misdirection. He's brought down at midfield.
This is a spot when you want to show the defense they have to respect your running game.
3rd on the 50.
Ball on the 50-yard line.
Look that run! Look that run!
Breeze lines up with a split backfield. They give it to the fullback. Pretty conservative call for that situation.
1-yard gain on the play.
Number 4 awaits the snap. Robinson is back deep to return. Back to kick it. Here's the... No, they fake it. I don't think anybody on the return team knew where the ball went.
Talk about a gutsy call. I never saw that one coming, and I don't think the defense did either.
Ball on the 26-yard line.
Breeze lines up with a split backfield. Fullback handoff.
Nice job on gap control defense there. Really no place to run.
Don't let those guys intimidate you. Get out there and run it down their throat. Ball on the 23-yard line.
Still a lot of time left, but at the end of one, the score is 14-0. Saints.
14, the Panthers, nothing. The teams are ready for the second quarter. Get the offensive line to maintain their blocks.
In field goal range now. The Panthers line up in a 4-3.
Red, 16.
Back to throw. Incomplete pass. Let's head down to the field for the call.
Pass interference on the defense. Number 20, first down.
And they say the defender made contact with the receiver too early.
But the defender can't go through the offensive player on the way to the ball, and that's what happened there.
Ball on the 10-yard line.
Their last red zone trip resulted in a touchdown. I don't expect this one to be any different. The halfback with the carry. Bush gains 7 yards on that play.
7-yard gain on the play.
3 yards for the score now.
Ball on the 1-yard line.
They come out with split backs. Here's the halfback.
I know it takes patience, but you have to keep running the football to defense. Sooner or later, they'll be able to break one for a big game.
The defense is backed up against their own end zone here.
Hold it, baby. Hold it. Set. Look at this play.
And he scores. What a play. And that was a great run for 6. Hartley lining up for the point after. Hartley adds the extra point. New Orleans will be kicking off.
Harris back deep to return.
It's a high, short kick. Takes it at the 21. Still on his feet. That return will set the offense up nicely.
Here's a good defense for this situation. First
Ball on
and
the
10.
50.
Ball on the 47-yard line.
The New Orleans Saints come out in a 4-3. Gain of 4.
With the carry. His defense might work on the play.
They line up at the 50.
Ball on the 49-yard line.
The Saints line up with a quarter defense. There are 7 defensive backs on the field.
And that was a relatively easy interception that he let go in and out of his hands there.
A smart coach would call this one. 3rd and 7. Ball on the 49-yard line.
They come out in a nickel. And the snap goes right to the left. Looked like someone got caught holding. Here's the official call.
Holding on the offense. Number 67, fourth down.
Three and out.
3 and out, and the defense wins. That's the bottom line. That's an embarrassing spot for an offense to be in. And so many times we see a momentum shift coming out of those 3 and out situations.
And it will go out of bounds. First down now and 10 to go.
28-yard line.
The Panthers bring in the nickel package. The halfback with the carry. On play action. He's laying it out there. He brings it in. The 20.
Sometimes I think because Drew Brees isn't a very big guy, people tend to think he doesn't have great arm strength. But when I go back and put on the tape, there's no question that when he has to make a throw, when he has to make that deep comeback kind of a throw, he has plenty of arm strength to do anything, and he's a big play guy. You always see him creating big play opportunities for his receivers.
First down, looking to throw. Incomplete pass. Holston wasn't able to bring it in. Incomplete pass on the play.
2nd and 10. Ball on the 17-yard line.
Single set backfield. Drops back. Rockets it out. Fires into the end zone. Makes the catch. Touchdown, Saints.
Drew Brees is one of those quarterbacks that loves looking for the big play. He is more patient than most in trying to keep his focus down the field. He wants to hit you for a big play before he comes back to that dump off. And you can see in big game situations, that usually generates some exciting touchdown plays just like that one.
Hartley adds the extra point. New Orleans gets ready to kick it away.
Harris back deep to return.
He lofts it high in the air. Takes it at the 16. Their last drive ended with a 3 and out.
Harris on the return. Give this one a try. The Panthers will start the drive at the 29-yard line. 1st and 10.
They line up in the shotgun. He looks to throw on first down. Hits him square in the hands, but he fails to bring it in.
Moore, the intended receiver, on the play. 2nd and 10. Ball on the 29-yard line.
McCown will line up with the shotgun formation. Back to pass. Pass completed at the 50. What an open field tackle by Davis.
Gain of 30 on the play.
First down now and 10 to go.
Ball on the 41-yard line.
One-man backfield. King in motion. Drops back on first down. They get another first down here.
Well, they're not really doing anything fancy. This is just good old-fashioned drop back, find the open zone, and work it in there.
They're in field goal range.
8-yard line.
The New Orleans Saints line up in a 4-3. And that was a great job to get to him for the sack.
Man, I'm really impressed by that guy out there. You know, you try to single block him, you can't. You try and double team him, you still can't block him. There are some guys in the league that are just too good.
The Saints go with a four-man front. They need to find a better way to protect him out there.
I really don't know what you do as an offense at this point, because if it's one guy struggling or one guy winning the battle, you can help one side or another. But when your entire offensive line is getting beat on a consistent basis, what do you do?
A smart coach would call this play.
They have to reach the 18 to pick up a fresh set of downs.
Turnover, baby.
They'll go from the shotgun. He drops back to pass. It's completed. They'll come up way short on third down.
9-yard gain on the play.
This will be about a 43-yarder.
Field goal attempt.
The kick is no good left.
Watch that game clock. You need to keep it stopped as much as possible.
After the missed field goal, they're set to go on offense. That's a 35. The Carolina Panthers bring in the nickel package. Drops back on first down. He throws on the run. Pass completed. He threw a bullet in there.
You're going to have to put a little asbestos on the gloves of these receivers. That baby came in there smoking.
Ball on the 50.
Ball on the 48-yard line.
Ace backfield this time. A little misdirection. They can't bring him down. What a spin. Beeson tackles him at the 43-yard line.
They just have to keep pounding it out. Just keep that defense tired on its heels, and the big gains will come later in the second half.
Ball on the 43-yard line.
The Panthers line up in a 4-3. Here's a counter play. At the 30, knocked out of bounds at the 24-yard line. They got burned on the blitz that time.
Yeah, I understand that you have to mix it up defensively, but if you're going to take that kind of chance and bring that kind of pressure, you are clearly vulnerable to a big play just like that.
A little misdirection. And he will lose yardage on the play. And that looked like the exact same play they just ran. It's second down and a long ways to go.
Ball on the 26-yard line.
Single set backfield. Back to throw. Defender tips it away. Moore was the intended receiver on the play, and it falls incomplete.
They pass it down right here. This is what it's all about.
Ball on the 26-yard line.
From the gun. Drops back. Throws on the run. He's got it. Carolina will take a timeout. They were able to remain the pass up tonight. They'll 7-yard gain on the play. This is kicking team is on the field. Try for 3 points. It's good. Attempt is good. Hartley places the ball on the tee and will get ready to kick this one off. It's a line drive kick. Fields it at the 11. Stays on his feet. The offense takes the field, and they have to be a little frustrated that they couldn't get the ball through the upright. First down, 10 to go.
Ball on the 30-yard line.
One-man backfield. They'll throw on first down under heavy pressure. And it's incomplete. And this should be the last play of the half.
On the 30-yard line.
New Orleans might have some difficulty covering all 5 receivers with a base 4-3 defense. And this should be the last play of the half.
Ball on the 30-yard line.
Let's go.
New Orleans doesn't appear to have enough speed on the field to match up against these 5 wideouts. Back to pass. All kinds of pressure. Defender tips it away. Still a half to play, but they really have taken control of this. The New Orleans Saints, 31. The Panthers, nothing.
We're ready to begin the
Carolina will get it first here in the second half. Very low kick here. Fields it at the 17. They'll start this drive at the 30.
Here's a good defense for this situation.
Ball on their own 30.
Start the drive at the 30-yard line. First and 10.
From the gun, he looks to throw on first down. Going for it all. And it's tipped away. They can't complete the pass. Now the offense will be looking at second down.
This defense looks good.
Ball on the 30-yard line.
Hey, quarter flat, all right? Quarter flat.
The Saints bring in their quarter defensive package. Back to throw. Incomplete pass. That pass was simply uncatchable.
Intended receiver on the play. Give this one a shot.
3rd and 10. Ball on the 30-yard line.
Nothing deep. Watch the throw on the screen. Let's get
From the gun, drops back. Greer has the pick. The 40. Gets a loose ball. He scoops it up. That was a fortunate bounce for the offense. After the interception, they'll set up shop at the 35.
First and 10.
The Saints come out in a 4-3. Fullback handoff. He fumbled it. He picks it up.
One thing for sure, the ball's not going to stay free on that field for very long. Defensively, they were all over that one.
Ball on the 36-yard line.
Ball on the 36-yard line.
One man backfield. He looks to throw on first down. The quarterback gets into the open field. Steps out of bounds at the 28-yard line. Made the play with his feet rather than his arm there.
And defensive coordinators hate running quarterbacks. They really do. Because it's one more spot on the field that against some quarterbacks you don't have to defend.
They'll go from the shotgun. The halfback with the carry. And that run will get them the first down. Nice job.
Use some motion to throw off the defense. Don't let them get too comfortable.
First and 10.
Ball on the 26-yard line.
The Panthers go with a four-man front. On the ground with a tailback. And he will lose yardage on the play. A great defensive effort there. No one picked up the linebacker, and it cost them.
Be aware of the defensive set. You've got to take what they're giving them.
Second and long situation coming up here. They'll work from the shotgun. Defense closing in. Breeze did a great job breaking through and getting there for the sack.
You got a ways to go for the first down. So you got to need a little time back there in that pocket.
32-yard line. Not across our middle.
Out of the shotgun. Drops back. Beeson has the pick. Let's head down to the field for the call.
And you try to keep your offense on schedule. Anytime you take a penalty, it's just so much harder to pick up a first down.
First and 10, 41-yard line.
Posse in the game.
One-man backfield. They give it to the tailback.
Well, they might not be breaking off any big gains, but you can see those offensive linemen still working hard down there.
2nd and 7 coming up here. The New Orleans Saints come out in a 4-3. Drops back to pass. What a catch! Not sure what the call is. Let's see what the flag is all about.
Face mask on the defense. Number 42, automatic.
And the defense gives up some free yards to the offense.
I always thought a defensive penalty was so much more deflating than an offensive penalty because on offense you have a chance to make up for it. On defense, a lot of times it's big yardage and automatic first downs.
The Saints go with a 4-man front. It's a direct snap. He's under pressure. Throw on the run. Incomplete pass. And that one will draw the flag. Here's the referee's call on the play.
defense. First down.
This one goes against the defender.
Yeah, and I can't really blame the defender in that situation. He's trying to go for the ball. The offensive guy makes a little move for the ball. He ends up running through him. It just happens sometimes.
Expect the defense to turn it up a notch here in the red zone. Goes for the end zone. David has the pitch. So he went up high for that one and was able to come down with it.
What an athlete that guy is. I'm telling you, he plays vertically. He gets up above people and made a great interception on that one.
So they're ready to go on offense after the interception. They'll start at the 20-yard line. The Carolina Panthers line up in a 4-3. Drops back on first down. Going for it all. Completed at the 50. Another positive game through the air.
And having success early in the game like this frees up your running game because the defenses have to keep defensive backs in coverage. So now there's more space for that running attack.
The Panthers go with a 4-man front. First down, looking to throw. Here's the deep throw. Godfrey gets the pick. And this one will be taken all the way back. He can't be tackled. He dives for the end zone. Touchdown.
Holding on the defense. Number 31.
Oh, that worked, and it's not going to count for 6.
Heck, this is a good one to call.
Ball on their own 24.
Ball on the 24-yard line.
The Saints come out in a 4-3. Little handoff. Nice play fake. Under heavy pressure. Brings it in. And I have a feeling this one's coming back.
Holding on the offense. Number 79.
And I really didn't see the hold there.
Honestly, Tom, there is holding on every single play. I mean, the rule changes now allow for the guys to grab, but you have to keep inside the framework of the defensive player. As long as you do that, it typically doesn't get called. It did there.
King goes in motion. He looks to throw on first down. Oh, and he dropped it. Second down for the offense after that incomplete pass.
The intended receiver on the play. Second and long. Ball on the 16-yard line.
The New Orleans Saints line up in a 4-3. Defender tips it away.
Yeah, sometimes those tip balls end up being tipped up in the air, and that's what defenses really feed on, those tip drills.
16-yard line.
Watch the throw on the screen.
The offense lining up, hoping to convert on third again, their fourth attempt of the drive. He drops back. All kinds of pressure. And he can't make the catch.
You can see the receiver making a late adjustment on the ball. He's in perfect position and just dropped it.
So the offense will probably head off the field after failing to calls for the fair catch. Hate to say it, but this one looks like it's coming back.
Holding on the receiving team, number 37.
And I know this is a game of emotion, and if you're not emotional on the football field, you're going to get beat anyway, but you can't let your emotions get away from
the 27-yard line.
The Panthers go with a four-man front. Drops back on first down. And the bomb is away. Almost picked. And the quarterback dodges the bullet on that.
He just never seemed to even recognize the coverage on that play. Took a chance and laid it up there. Luckily for him, that defensive back's hands aren't very good.
The Carolina Panthers come out in a 4-3. A little misdirection. Still pushing. Spins away. The 40. The 40. The 30. He's got space to run. The 10. Dives, and he's in. Touchdown. Not much chance of keeping them out on that touchdown, Chris.
The defense is starting to look a little tired, aren't they? I don't know exactly what happened there, but typically defensively, if you're going to start making plays in this league, you better be flying around, and that was a little lethargic.
Hartley lining up for the point after. Extra point is good. New Orleans will be kicking off.
For the kickoff. Harris back deep to return.
He line drives it. Takes it at the 14. They couldn't do anything against this defense on their last drive, and they were forced to punt. First start the drive and 10 to go.
29-yard line. First and 10.
They line up in the shotgun. Drops back on first down. Tipped pass. Davis had the coverage on the play.
Muhammad, the intended receiver on the play. Second and 10. Ball on the 29-yard line.
The defense is in the nickel. Drops back to pass. Pass is complete. He's tackled at the 33-yard line.
Reception.
Jarrett picks up about 4 yards with the catch. Third down, they need 6 for a first.
Ball on the 33-yard line.
They come out with an empty backfield. Back to throw. Looks left. Heaves it deep. Drops the easy pick. The defender got there in time to break that play up. Pushed back deep to return. signals for the fair catch.
Fair catch made at the 17-yard line.
They'll
First
start
down
the
now
drive and 10
at the
to go.
17-yard line. First and 10.
The Panthers come out in a 4-3. They'll give it off here.
The defense held their position and didn't let him get away on that one.
Second and 6.
Second and 6. Ball on the 20-yard line.
The Carolina Panthers go with a 4-man front. They hand it off. Huge hit. A 1-yard gain by the halfback.
1-yard gain on the play.
Third and 5 coming up.
Ball on the 21-yard line.
The Panthers line up in a 4-3. A little misdirection. And that was a nice job to pick up the first down.
You know, one of the dangers of blitzing is that if you can break that first line of the defense, now you just don't have the pursuit in behind it to stop the run.
And that's the end of the third quarter. The New Orleans Saints 38, the Panthers nothing.
The Panthers, nothing.
The New Orleans Saints have this game completely under control as they start this final quarter with a huge lead and the ball.
First and
10.
Ball on the 32-yard line.
The Panthers go with a 4-man front. They'll give it off here. Thomas gets 3 yards on the carry.
3-yard gain on the play.
Second and 7 coming up here.
Ball on the 35-yard line.
Ace backfield this time. Gives it off. He's used his blockers very well this game. How can you not be a fan of this guy? Third down and short situation here.
Ball on the 42-yard line.
Give it all you got. Woo!
That brings up another third down attempt. Hand off to the fullback. That'll keep the chains moving.
Third down conversion is always so important in a football game, but when you can convert on third down on the ground, it just is a little bit extra special.
First down, 10 to go.
Ball on the 44-yard line.
They come out with split backs. Fullback handoff. And a pickup of about 2.
Gain of 2 on the play.
From their own 46-yard line.
Ball on the 46-yard line.
Let's go, Cabo. Come on, let's go.
Breeze lines up with a split backfield. On the ground with a tailback. Drops it. The Panthers recovered it. And that's still going to give them a chance.
By the defense. New Orleans is challenging the fumble.
A fumble on the play has
A
been
close call
challenged.
there. Was it a fumble?
I don't know why you keep asking me. You know every time it goes to replay, I'm basically wrong. So I'm not going to guess anymore. I'm just going to wait and listen with everybody else.
There was a fumble on the play.
And so after they look it over, the ruling will remain the same. First down now and 10 to
Ball
go.
on the 44-yard line.
Watch it back, baby. Watch it back.
The New Orleans Saints come out in a 4-3. They give it to the tailback.
Hey, watch the screen, baby. Watch the screen.
First down, looking to throw. He couldn't hang on to it. Second down coming up after the incomplete pass.
Intended receiver on the play. Second and 10. Ball on the 31-yard line.
The Saints line up in a 4-3. Pass is complete. Gain of 9 on the play.
9-yard gain.
This defense might work.
They're in field goal range.
Ball on the 22-yard line.
Get him stopped. Come on. Get him stopped.
So third down once again as the offense lines up. Defense closing in. What a move. Pass completed. And that flag was thrown in the area of holding.
Holding on the offense. Number 70.
That seemed like the right call there.
Yeah, sometimes you have holding and sometimes you have tackling. That looked more like a tackle.
They dig themselves into a big hole with the penalty as they face a third and long situation. Well, a familiar situation for this offense as they will attempt to convert yet another third down. It's completed. The 20, the 10, touchdown Panthers.
Set.
Up and good. New Orleans up by a bunch. Baker wants to get a good bounce here to give his team a chance to recover. Here's the onside kick. Takes it at the 45. They'll start this drive at the 41. First and 10.
Ball on the 41-yard line.
The Panthers line up in a 4-3. Here's a counter play. Godfrey drops in at the 34-yard line.
Ball carrier.
Bush picks up about 7 yards there after getting the ball on the misdirection. Ball on the 34-yard line.
Ball on the 34-yard line.
Solo.
The Carolina Panthers come out in a 4-3. A little misdirection. That was an excellent run there to pick up the first.
Yes, sir. He really found a nice hole, was able to exploit it for a good gain. They're going to have to do a better job getting in those running lanes if they're going to stop him consistently.
The Panthers go with a 4-man front. Here's a counter play. That was a good effort for the back to pick up the first.
And as a play caller, when you see a successful running play like that, it makes you a little more confident to call it the next time.
We have 2 minutes left to play in this game.
Done.
The Carolina Panthers line up in a 4-3. On the ground near the tailback. And that should be offsides on the defense.
Offside on the defense. Number 53, touchdown.
Hartley lining up for the point after. Point after is good. The Saints up big.
New Orleans is lined up for the kickoff. Harris back to return.
He kicks it off. Fields it at the 11. Still working. Stiff arms the defender.
All right, no time to fool around now. You have to get the ball.
The
First and
Panthers
10.
will start the drive at the 39-yard line. First and 10.
Williams is the single setback. Harper gets the pitch. And this one looks like it's going to come back.
Holding on the offense. Number 79, first down.
First down now and 10 to go.
14-yard line.
Posse! Posse!
Bush lines up as the single back. Little misdirection. 3-yard gain by the halfback on the counter.
3-yard gain on the play.
It's second down and 7 to go.
Ball on the 17-yard line.
The Carolina Panthers come out in a 4-3. Here's a counter play. Tackle at the 18. He stopped him there, and unofficially I have him down for 6 tackles so far. Gain of about a yard. Ball on their own 18.
Ball on the 18-yard line.
Set.
On the ground with a tailback. What a hit. I don't think he even saw that guy. And it looks like he's going to be short on this one.
Well, as an offense, the last thing in the world you wanted here was to have to punt the football away. But here, clearly, they're going to have to. And now it's going to be up to the defense to try and win this one.
Gotta push the power back, fellas. Gotta push him back.
Screen down, screen down, screen down.
Watch the wind, watch the wind, watch the
A little
wind.
misdirection. Diggs gets his hands on him and drags him down for a loss.
Not really sure about that call. I know the coaches in this league are getting a lot more aggressive, going for it on fourth down.
They'll start the drive
I
at
don't
the
know why they kept
19-yard
the
line.
offense out there
First
that
and
time.
10.
The Saints line up in a 4-3. In and out of his hand.
The pass
Well,
falls
if the wide
incomplete.
receiver's not
Muhammad,
kicking
the
himself, the
intended receiver
quarterback or the
on
head
the play.
coach might be. That was an easy one.
Second and 10. Ball on the 19-yard line.
McCown lines up in the shotgun. Back to throw. It's completed. Touchdown, Panthers. Looked to me that the defense just forgot about him on that play.
Well, this team has no quit in them. There's no question about that. And if they can make one more stop or recover an onside kick, they're right back in it.
Casey lining up for the point after. Extra point is good. New Orleans is winning big.
Carolina
lines
is
up to
lined
kick
up
this
for the
one away.
kickoff. Thomas back to return.
Not a bad kick. Fields it at the 7. They'll
Kickoff
take
return,
over at the
18
26.
yards. Thomas on the return.
Set.
And they will kneel down to try to run out the clock. That'll do
That's
it
the
for
end
us.
of the game.
Our final
The
in this
final
one
score
is the
is
New Orleans
the
Saints
Saints
45, the
45,
Carolina
the
Panthers
Panthers
14.
14.
So,
Thank
from
you for
myself and
attending
Chris
today's ball
Collinsworth,
game.
we'll see you next time.